I say it every time we play that. A, I hate all of you. You asked for the impression, I gave it. But B, the fact that that guy, that scumbag, owned an NBA team and then went on national TV and those were his answers, it's still something I wouldn't believe if I saw it in a movie. I'd be like, that's not realistic.
No.
And yet we live through that.
No. Looks like the owners of the Cleveland Indians in Major League. Yeah.
Oh, like, we're taking this team to Florida.
Yeah.
Well, how the hell is everybody? I mean, I got to be honest. Whatever happened to Comerica is totally irrelevant. It's more, are you as excited as I am? Like, I know last weekend wasn't your jam, but now, tonight.
No, last weekend was, because it was a good, relevant game that meant something. It wasn't JV versus varsity open scrimmage. So, no, last week was cool, sitting there on the couch, investing in the game from start to finish, not turning it off.
Pitt, West Virginia, Penn State, Purdue.
I'm excited for tonight.
I'm excited about everything.
I did the podcast with Evan. We kind of talked about Michigan State's game tomorrow. Really didn't have much to talk about Michigan except for don't make any mistakes, don't get hurt. As a matter of fact,
it's such a good bit. We got to use that more.
As a matter of fact, I'll even give you guys a little sneak preview. Did the over-under point differential for Michigan in their first 3 games over-under 121.5 points?
Over.
Over.
200.
Yeah. Not total points scored.
250.
Point differential.
Over.
Harvey Baez's batting average or the points Michigan beats these first 3 potato sacks by? Harvey. Listen, we want to get into this because I can't believe Rico and I actually have a disagreement. It's Rico getting what he wants and then me saying it's not enough. So there's a vote to expand the college football playoff. Tell me if you've heard this before. But tomorrow, Michigan State kicking off isn't the only thing we should care about as college football fans. There's a vote. It's going down. And mind you, the NCAA is busy asleep underneath a tree. But the College Football Playoff Board of Managers is holding a Zoom call tomorrow. And they're going to discuss expansion in the playoff as soon as 2024. And it sounds like 12 teams is on the docket. Now, coming from the guy who said, I'd rather just leave it at 4, this may surprise you, or it may be a searing bit of hypocrisy. But if we're going to do this, Rico, do it right. Go right to 16. I don't want to hear about this again. I don't want to go down this road again. And you know what? Be done with it. And you know what else it stops? And Rico gets full credit because we had this conversation and he stole my point. And now I'm going to steal it back. But it's no, we jointly agree on this. Going to 16 will stop all of the nonsense. The Big 12 doesn't have to go away. The Pac-12 doesn't have to go away. USC and UCLA don't have to leave. The ACC Bill of Rights stays intact. We get to have a semblance of normal. A semblance of geography. And yes, a semblance of the past. But the 12, I know what's going to happen. Then the next conversation is, when we go into 16, Notre Dame can stay independent. Everybody can just sit tight. So I have rules for this, but I wanted to go with this first because you're going to argue it. And I think the people will weigh in on that. The other stuff I'm going to bring to the table, those are me things. I don't know if people care, and I don't know if you care. So let's establish something everyone cares about. This meeting's going down tomorrow. My belief, they're coming out of this meeting, they're going to vote, they're going to expand, and 2024, the sport's going to look different playoff-wise.
The funny thing is, I wonder what brought on all this sense of urgency. I don't know if it's just all the money being tossed about for the TV networks, and they realize, guys,
right here,
we're about to become obsolete because the Big Ten and the SEC are going to wake up one day and say, we really don't need to live in mommy and daddy's house anymore. We make more money than them. We can go and get our own houses. I like the fact that it's going to expand. The 12 is an odd number. 12 just tells me you still haven't learned your lesson because you're right. It opens up the door for 16. Mike, here's where I turn a little bit of you. I think 8. I said at the beginning, 8 was the perfect number. 8 allowed you to win your conference. 8 allowed for a group of 5 team. 8 allowed for wild card teams. If you were good, the reason why I say 8, because 8, it's still prestigious enough that you are in. If it were 12, MSU's in last year. MSU wasn't a playoff team, but they would have made it. Thank you, David. They would have made it because you're expanding too far, because now you're going to water down the product. If you leave it at 8, it still is difficult to do. You still have to, play. You're allowed to lose a game, and your season's not over. If you go to 12 and to 16, you could lose 2-3 games, and you still have a shot at this. It just depends on who you lose to.
Let me throw it to the people. 248-539-9797. You're driving home from the ball game. You're leaving work. Hopefully you got power. Look, expansion's happening. I've laid down my sword. I'm not fighting it anymore. I'm done. I know I won't win. It's a fruitless pursuit. And I think the toothpaste is out of the tube. So my point, I'm going to 16. Everything Rico says is right, but here's where my mind is at. I'm trying to get to the point where the money's so obnoxious and so ridiculous that we can stop the nonsense. Every player in America makes the same amount of money, whether they go to Bama or whether they go to Alabama A&M. Meaning, every player gets, let's say, a round number, $50,000 a year. Now, all the NIL stuff, once you go to school, I don't care how much you make whatever you like. Somebody wants to drop a Ferrari on you, cool. Somebody wants you in a terrible HVAC commercial, winning. Somebody decides they want to make branded merchandise. Love it. Whatever you want. I don't care if somebody drops $10 million on you. The point I'm making is $50,000 across the board. So my mind goes to this, Rico. March Madness. Now, college basketball is useless. It's useless. No one cares about it. The only reason it exists.
Not fair.
Okay.
People do.
Hold on. Let me rewind.
Go ahead.
Very few people compare about it.
Not even true, but keep going.
Very true. The TV ratings are brutal.
Well, there's other stuff going on.
But March Madness is the only reason that sport is viable. March Madness is what, $1 billion a year TV deal?
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right? I'd argue to you, college football goes to 16, 2.5 a year. You're talking about billions with a B per year that the conferences would chop up, that it would then be further chopped again. So the Big Ten schools, let's say they're all getting $100 million from the Big Ten TV deal, they could get an equal share from the playoff deal. And now I don't have to hear anything about we can't afford it. Every player gets paid.
Right. Now, here's the only problem. See, it's different with the Big Ten Network. Big Ten Network can go specifically to different teams. Going through the NCAA, every athlete on the campus has to get the same amount.
Well, that's my. Well, hold on. The point would be, this isn't the NCAA. This is a football product. This is a football NIL deal.
No. In theory, yes, but once it goes to the NCAA,
well, then fix it.
They're going to say through the Title IX.
Does the NCAA exist? Where are they?
They don't exist, but people don't realize they don't exist. You know what the NCAA is? The NCAA is the wizard from The Wizard of Oz.
Or Ward Manual.
Do not look behind the curtain, because you're going to find out I don't exist and I'm not as powerful as you think I am. Look at the floating head up there that's scary, blowing out fire through the eyeballs. That's me. I will find your team. I will give you the death penalty. Pull back the curtain, and it's some little guy looking like the Benny Hill assistant.
Right. It's a ventriloquist.
In fact, I can tell you, Rico, I was just in Indy last week. They're not there. You're right. It is the Wizard of Oz.
It's the Wizard of Oz.
No one's there.
And the fact that people, and I think they're they're realizing, man, the Big Ten and the SEC are really close. If they take one more step, they're going to realize they're more powerful than we are.
Here's the other thing, fellas. To me, if you go to 16, I'd enforce some rules. Because what Rico brought up is true. Oh, no, we'd have 3 and 4 loss teams in the playoff. I've screamed about that before. But what if the 3 or 4 losses were because everybody started playing real schedules? Not this cupcake factory like U of M's got. What if we mandated certain scheduling policies to go along with an expanded playoff? Ready? No one. I don't care if you think you bleep excellence and smell like roses. No one can have 8 home games. No one. 7 max. You must play Power 5 teams in the non-con. You must have at least one. And with the expanded playoff comes expanded conference schedules. Everyone in America who plans on playing in this Humpty Bumpty, you're playing 10 conference games. Period. You want one preseason game against the Sisters of the Poor and the Surgeons Club of Chicago? Fine. Your other game's going to be a Power 5 team. And then you will play your entire conference. All of y'all wanted to expand 14, 16, 20. Good. Get used to playing those teams. 10 conference games across the board. SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, I don't care. 10 games. Those rules get put into this. Now I'll live with 8-4. 8-4.
You'll get 8
Ole
and 4.
Miss,
Right?
Getting
Texas
in.
A&M 8-4.
Right, the Jimbo special.
Right.
Fine, because you played 10 SEC games because you had to play a P5.
So no more of the cupcake Saturday in November.
No more Citadel. No more Mercer.
Army.
That's not remotely the same thing. Hurtful. And I'm going to let that one's free. 248-539-9797. Let's get involved because they're voting tomorrow. And to me, they need to just jump in the pool, go to 16. I'm done. I don't want to hear about 12 because 12 just starts the ball rolling towards 16. What are you doing, man?
And I say 8. 8, and it's still prestigious enough, but it's where it should have been at the beginning, and we're not talking about all this. Texas and Oklahoma still in the Big 12. All of the other teams are staying where they're at because they have a legitimate shot instead of trying to run to the SEC and the Big 10 because they just want a bigger piece of the pie.
Whose plan do you like better? Rico's 8, very conservative but sensible, or mine, which is more wild, but it comes with rules.
I like your rules, by the way.
Because they're common sense. No team in America should have 8 home games.
As much as you bash college basketball, I love the fact they are not afraid to play real games in a non-conference.
They've admitted that largely the regular season is meaningless. I mean, you could be Georgetown, be 13 and 16, and you're still finding a way in.
Win your tournament, win 7 in a row, bam.
So college wants to go to a pro model. Let's just call this what it is. Then accept the way the NFL does. You have limited games, you can lose a couple, and you still got a shot if, like for instance, I don't know if it'd be the RPI, the seed line, the S-curve, VORP trend, whatever you want to call it. Develop a system that we all understand. Go call Joe Lenardi's cousin, Johnny, and you show me the Carfax. And the committee has to stand by their selections, not based on conference, based on where are you at on the seed line. 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed. Oh, you're not on it? You're out.
Right.
But who you play should matter. Who you schedule should matter. For too long, and this is your point, I'm stealing it. You've said it. We've been afraid to lose games in college.
Yep.
And I embrace that. It is a high wire act. I enjoyed it. But the unintended consequence, you end up with a schedule like U of M.
Yep. They're going to win.
That's not okay. It's not okay in the long
term.
term.
Their schedule is so easy that they can experiment. And no repercussions.
Yep.
Harbaugh knows going into this game, there is a 0.00000 chance I'm losing either one of these 2 games.
Let me ask you a question. Hypothetical. Do you think if they started Jim Brandstad or a quarterback, they could beat Colorado State?
Yes, I would think Michigan -7.5.
I mean, you figure they could put Brandy in a chair.
You could
snap.
get Brandy in the chair and Jansen at left tackle with his bad hip and all.
Yeah.
And they still.
They probably
You know what?
They'd edge him out.
Karsh could be your safety. Gator could be the running back.
It's unbelievable.
They would still win.
248
Jim could go under center.
We've lost him.
Jim could go under center, and he could lead this team.